Miserable failure of Harry Memoir continued to throw him into the fire as Brits refused to buy a copy. Prince Harry's publisher, Penguin Random House, revealed details of the Duke of Sussex's memoir last week after it announced that the 416-page memoir would be titled Spare, and detail with raw, unflinching honesty his journey from trauma to healing. The book, it's thought, will explore Harry's perspective from Princess Diana's funeral in 1997, right up to his decision to leave the firm 2 years ago. The poll of 1,629 British adults carried out found 30% would shell out for Harry's memoir, while 15% were undecided. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams told, "The launch of Prince Harry's memoir is likely to be an international event." Apart from the Duke of Windsor, who waited 14 years until 1951 to release a King's story, there's no precedent for this. The number of people who will actually buy the book is simply one aspect of it. It's not yet been announced if it is to be serialised and if Harry will give interviews before publication. It's reliably been reported that the purpose of the book was primarily commercial and that it was originally scheduled for this year, that of the Platinum Jubilee, for maximum impact. It will be translated into 16 languages and the hype will be huge. It's also been reported that changes, possibly substantial changes, were made after the Queen's death. Much of the interest assumes that it will be controversial because the blurb boasts its raw and as unflinching honesty. If so, there may well be a price to pay for its popularity, as it will adversely affect the Sussexes' already rocky relations with the royal family. The polling data showed older people were more likely than their younger counterparts to say they would buy a copy. Some 36% of over 64s said they would get their wallet out, compared to 23% of those aged 18 to 34. Tory and Labour backers were fairly equally split, with 34% and 30% respectively saying they would purchase the memoir. Meanwhile, some 32% of Brexiteers and 29% of Remainers were willing to pay for Harry's book. Harry lost his HRH status when he decided to leave the royal family in 2020, with his wife Meghan Markle, but maintained his Duke of Sussex title. Some royal experts have claimed that the publication of Spare could put his dukedom at risk. Royal family enthusiast Niall Gardner claimed that if Harry attacks the firm with his book, the king could take action against his son by revoking his royal titles. Buckingham Palace will be very concerned by the release of Harry's book. There is a lot of nervousness about it. Harry and Meghan will be cast into the wilderness and lose their royal titles if it's an all-out onslaught against the royal family. He added that the publication could have a catastrophic impact on Meghan and Harry's standing. In order to strip the Sussex dukedom, an Act of Parliament would need to be passed. As a result, Dr. Bob Morris of the Constitution Unit at University College London claimed that it's unlikely that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will lose access to the titles. At present, it seems very unlikely that Parliament itself will wish to take any initiative, and it would be for the King Charles and the government in practice to determine the matter. A new website popped up dedicated to the book, with the new information about its content quickly prompting backlash as well as support from royal fans. Mr. Scobie, who's a co-author of Finding Freedom, which focuses on the exit of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from the royal fold, said on Friday that the choice of title shouldn't have come as a huge surprise to royal followers. Repurposing the term spare, which refers to those pushed down the line of succession by an elder sibling, occupying the role of heir, is Harry finally owning the term after a lifetime of being called it. A spare also carries a purpose rarely acknowledged by any royal or palace official, the resident scapegoat to protect the crown and higher ranking family members.